How is everybody on this amazing, beautiful, beautiful evening? Another stunning day. We must just make the most of it because it's supposed to be raining, but it's not now. It's sunny, and I want to just share a bit of my story, and I've shared it with a few people, and it's always quite long, so I'm just going to briefly share it. And it's about how we step out and how we hear from God. Because a lot of people say, well, how did this happen and how did that happen and how did you trust? And you know, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I'd been asking the Lord, and He said, behold, I'm going to do a new thing. And at that time I was in a very, very comfortable place. My job was fine, everything was so comfortable. But you know, nothing grows in a comfort zone. And the Lord was leading me, and He just made a way for me to open a door. So I was praying. And then I was at work and a situation arose, and I just applied for a position over here, and I said to my boss, look, I've applied for a position, I don't know if anything's going to come from it. And she just said, well, if it's from God, there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I applied for the position, and then I got the forms back and I filled them in, and then they gave me an interview, and the Lord was giving me a word in Matthew 14 about getting out of the boat and walking on water. And it was like, wow, really a rhema word. And then on the Wednesday, the 13th of February, I went to Bible college, and Pastor Marianne, the whole word was like about the rhema word and how Peter got out of the boat and he walked on water, and it was like that was my rhema word. Peter had the rhema word, he got out of the boat. All the other disciples were in the boat, they never got it, they never got out of the boat, but Peter did, and it was for me. And I said, Pastor Marianne, look what the Lord gave me last night. So that was my rhema word. Just as you're speaking, this is what you're talking about, this is what happened to me. And she's like, wow. Then on the Thursday, the 14th of February, I got a call to say I'd been accepted for my UK position. And it was just like amazing. And it was like, great, so now I've got to get my police clearance, I'm going to come. And then 2 weeks later, nothing's happening. I'm like, Lord, is this really from you? And just as Jesus, come, Peter, get out of the boat. Peter got out of the boat and he started walking. And I'm starting walking. And then all of a sudden, it's not happening the way I think it is. Lord, I need to hear, is this from you? And as I asked him, I went to a different church, and the whole sermon was on the 25th of February. The whole sermon was about getting out the boat and walking on water. And it was just confirmation for me. Are we really waiting and believing on God? His timing is perfect. So when it doesn't happen our way, it's not His way. And as I started walking and as I started trusting in Him, and all of a sudden everything started opening. Okay, Lord, this is the word you're giving me. All the right doors started opening. Then 2 weeks later, I was able to see all my friends, because I always said I want to have a funeral party, and I want to see all my friends before I pass away and get together and spend quality time with them. Not when I die, I'm not going to be here. So that was it. I had 2 weeks to spend with all my friends, 2-3 catch-ups a day. It was absolutely amazing. And then the Lord, as I was booking my flight, as everything started falling into place, my one friend, I hadn't seen her, she was on the way back from America. I said, okay, I'll see you the next day. God just made a way for me to see everybody. And it's trusting in Him when we just don't know. And really, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We hope for something, but we don't see it. And I really stepped out on faith to come to the UK. I didn't know what lay ahead. It wasn't really something I thought about doing. It just sort of happened like that. But as I'm trusting in God and He's leading me, okay, well, Lordy, this is from you. I'm stepping out on faith. And I did. And then when I came here, it didn't all go the way that I planned it to be. It was so different to my lifestyle. I had a busy lifestyle. I was like a whirlwind running around everywhere. I loved to be a Martha. I loved feeding. I was in the worship team. I would drive the minibus for the orphans. I was in the dance ministry. I was a hostess. I wanted to do everything, feeding on the streets, whatever it was. I wanted to do it for the Lord. And the Lord had been telling me for years, Martha, Martha, my eyes are always upon you. But Martha, He loved Mary and He loved Martha. But Mary did the better thing. She sat at His feet. So He really had to bring me to England so I could sit at His feet. And when I got here, it wasn't easy to be isolated and away from things. I'm like, Lord, is this really from you? Is this really what you want me to do? Because this isn't really, pleasing to the flesh. But what does it say? If we walk in the Spirit, we won't fulfill the desires of the flesh. And every time I sought the Lord, He would say, stay. He wasn't telling me to go. And I said, okay, maybe after 6 months, I'll go back to South Africa. Then I got offered a full-time position. I'm like, Lord, is this really from you? And everything just fell into place. Getting the right people to cover, and all the right help, and it's quite a long story, but everything just fell into place. It's trusting in God. And every time I had a wave or a challenge or circumstance, is keeping your eyes above, a focus on Jesus. Focus on Jesus and above the waves, above the challenges, above the circumstances, above everything, and not on the waves and that are going. And it says if we've got any doubt, we will not receive what we're asking. So Lord, I'm trusting in you. I'm believing in you. This is from you. And I removed all doubt, and I had faith, and I trusted in God. And even through the challenges and the storms and the trials, I kept my eyes above the waves. And I'm still here over 2 years later, not knowing when it would end. Everyone said, how long are you here? So I don't know. I could be leaving soon. But how the Lord made a way. I didn't have a car and had to get around. And he bought a car for the lady so I could drive her around. He just supplied all my needs. But it's walking on water and getting out of the boat and walking out on faith. Faith is. Now faith is. And you say, a lot of people can say, oh, but I want this and I want that. It's not about wanting, it's about being obedient. It's about God, that he will look after every single one of our needs. And most people in ministers and that, they don't have an abundance. They literally live by faith. Just imagine if we had all the money and we had everything. We'd be thinking it was our ability. But when we have nothing, we're just totally trusting in God. And that's been my last so many years. Totally trusting in God, not having, and totally trusting him to make a way. And he's just made ways beyond my comprehension. And that is what faith is. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And we walk into his promises. He wants to bless us. He wants to bless us. But we want to be totally reliant on him, and not our ability to do things, but his ability. And it's stepping out in bold faith. But faith is an action word. Action word is a doing word. And I stepped out and kept my eyes above the challenges and the storms, and every single day I've got to focus on him, because I have many challenges still. But I just want to share a bit of my story, because it's all very well, people think, oh, you're fine here, you're all fine. We're all going through a challenging time, but prayer can go where we can't. The power of prayer, hearing from God, being obedient to what God is asking. And sometimes, just imagine Noah, he's asked to build an ark. People go, are you crazy? Why would you want to build an ark? Why are you doing that? We haven't had rain. But by faith he'd done it. And so when God asks us to do something, we don't have to ask him why, what, where, how. He just wants to be obedient to what he's asking, and to step out in that ridiculous faith, that unswavering faith, unwavering faith, unwavering that whatever it is, that we are going to do what he's asking us to do, because he can do more than we can possibly imagine. And he has done more for me in these last 2 years, molded and shaped me, refined me. It's continually refining me. It says in the book of Hebrews, the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he's always disciplining me. And I think, Lord, are you ever going to stop disciplining me? But he loves us. When he loves us, he disciplines us because he wants us to get it right, just as we discipline our children because we don't want to see them go along the wrong path. So I just wanted to share that. Faith is to get out and to do it. And if you're hearing from the Lord, step out in faith, because if it's from him, he's going to open all the right doors. If it's not from him, he'll close the doors. But he needs us to have that action and to do it. And I just wanted to share that this evening. And it's such a beautiful night. Still night, but beautiful. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. God bless.